All right, let's talk about a feeling that has become way too common for so many of us, mental exhaustion. And I'm not just talking about being tired. This is a state of burnout that can literally affect everything you do. So let's dive in and really get a handle on what's going on.
Does this feel a little too familiar? You know that feeling, right? Where your brain's battery just seems permanently stuck at 1%? Where even the simplest tasks feel like you're trying to climb Mount Everest. It's that feeling of having absolutely nothing left in the tank. If you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
So what is this thing officially? Well, Healthline calls mental exhaustion a state of burnout. It happens when your brain is just overloaded. It's received way too much stimulation for way too long. Think about it like a computer that has 100 tabs open. Eventually, it's just going to slow down, lag, and freeze up. That's your brain basically screaming for a break.
So what actually pushes us into this state? Let's take a look at some of the most common triggers that can leave us feeling so completely and utterly drained.
You know, the culprits are often the biggest parts of our lives, right? Working crazy long hours, high-stakes jobs, and of course, financial stress. Then you add in the massive responsibilities of caring for someone or managing a chronic illness yourself, and you've got a perfect storm for burnout. Really, at its core, it's this huge imbalance between what life is demanding from us and our ability to just rest and recover.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. What is actually happening inside our bodies when we're under this kind of constant pressure? Well, there's a whole biological story playing out behind the scenes.
I want you to meet the HPA axis. This is your body's central stress response system. The best way to think of it is as this incredibly sophisticated, built-in emergency alarm that's designed to protect you from danger.
So how does this alarm actually work? It's this super precise chemical chain reaction. First, your brain spots something stressful. Immediately, your hypothalamus sends out a hormonal signal. That signal goes to your pituitary gland, which then releases another hormone into your bloodstream. And that hormone is the one that basically tells your adrenal glands, okay, it's go time. And boom, they release cortisol, the famous stress hormone.
And this right here really shows the two very different faces of stress. In the short term, we're talking acute stress. Cortisol is your friend. It gives you that burst of energy and focus you need to handle a problem. But with chronic stress, that alarm system gets stuck in the on position. Cortisol levels just stay high all the time, and instead of helping, they start messing with everything. Your sleep, your digestion, even your immune system.
So, when this system is constantly overworked, how does it let you know? Well, your body starts sending out some very, very clear signals. The trick is, you have to learn to actually listen to them. You know, it's so easy to just dismiss these things. A headache here, a bad night's sleep there. But these aren't just random. They are literally the warning lights on your car's dashboard, telling you that something under the hood needs your attention, and fast.
Mentally, the signs can feel totally overwhelming. You might have that constant brain fog or feel this weird sense of detachment where you just don't care anymore. And that often goes hand in hand with constant anxiety, feeling irritable all the time, and having zero motivation. Sometimes even this awful sense of dread hanging over you.
And oh yeah, it doesn't just stay in your head. Mental exhaustion shows up in your body, big time. We're talking about persistent headaches, an upset stomach, or that deep, soul-crushing fatigue that sleep just can't seem to fix. You might even notice you're getting sick way more often because those high cortisol levels are hammering your immune system. And naturally, all of this starts to change how you act. You might start procrastinating on everything, see your work performance take a nosedive, or find yourself canceling plans and avoiding people. It creates this ripple effect that touches every single part of your life.
Okay, so that was the bad news. That was the problem. Now let's talk about the good stuff, the solution. Because there are very real, very concrete things you can do to recharge. So let's build your personal toolkit.
First things first, you have to deal with the thing that's draining your battery. Sometimes that means actually removing the stressor, if you can, but a lot of the time it's about managing it. Taking real, meaningful breaks is absolutely non-negotiable. And crucially, you have to start setting firmer boundaries, like actually not checking work emails after 6 p.m. to protect your time and your energy. Next, we need to actively hit the body's off switch. Things like meditation or yoga are amazing for calming down your nervous system. Getting good quality sleep helps your brain literally reset itself. And exercise is just an incredible tool. Even a quick 30-minute walk can do wonders for your mood and your ability to handle stress.
Now let's talk about a piece of this puzzle that gets overlooked all the time, but is absolutely critical for your mental energy: what you're eating.
This quote from the journal Current Psychiatry just nails it. Overfed but undernourished. What does that mean? It means we can be eating plenty of food, plenty of calories, but our brains are literally starving for the specific nutrients they need to function properly and manage all this stress.
So, the main takeaway here is that not having the right vitamins can actually make your symptoms of exhaustion and stress even worse. B vitamins in particular are like a super fuel for your brain and your energy levels. They help regulate that whole stress response system we talked about. And you can find them in everyday foods like pork, fish, beans, and dairy. Bottom line, fueling your brain is just as important as resting it.
And finally, maybe the most important tool in the entire toolkit is knowing when it's time to ask for help. A therapist can help you figure out what's really at the root of your exhaustion and build strategies that are tailored just for you. You do not have to figure this out all by yourself.
So, once you start to feel better, how do you keep this from happening all over again? Well, the real goal is to turn these recovery tactics into everyday habits that last for the long haul.
All right, here's your playbook for the long game. Take regular time off, and I don't mean just waiting for a big vacation. Take a day. Put self-care and fun stuff in your actual calendar. When you're sick, actually rest instead of trying to power through. Lean on your friends and family. And maybe the most powerful one of all, practice saying no to protect your peace and your energy.
When you boil it all down, it really just comes to this. Your mind and your body are constantly talking to you, sending you signals when things are off balance. Those warning lights are flashing. The only real question left is, are you going to stop and listen?